The following episode contains mature themes and strong language. Listener discretion is advised.
Hello, welcome back to History and Mystery in Kansas City. I'm your host, Laura, and I'm with my co-host, Talia, formerly known as Thomas.
Hello.
We are going to be discussing two cold case murders that have been unsolved for a very long time in the Kansas City area. And instead of doing a little short blurb on the front of our previous episode, I wanted to make this the entire episode because there's just so much to discuss, and I feel like it just needs its own episode because it's tragic and it could be solved.
It could be. In fact, we're probably going to mention in this, like, FBI is reopening the case.
Since 2022.
Thank God.
Yeah.
We want answers. People want answers.
Yeah.
Resolutions. People want to move on, but they need the knowledge to be able to do so.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and their poor family. I can't imagine.
Well, nor could I. The first instance happened in 1989.
Yeah.
Let me do the math here. 45 years ago, depending.
No.
December.
35.
35?
I was born in 84, and I'll be 40 in September.
Oh my God, I'm thinking, I see the 8, and I'm trying to do the math on that. Yeah. Literally, this is literally 2 years older than me. I don't know. This is like almost to the day. This is like, okay, it's like 2 years and 16 days. Or no, it's like 16 days shy of my birthday, 2 years before me. You know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Mathin' ain't mathin' in my brain. So
Yeah. We are mentally unstable and unmedicated at the moment. Just bear with us.
It's a great mixture. It's a great cocktail. You should give it a try.
If you want an exciting time.
It's better than being intoxicated.
I get it first.
So I do apologize to everyone, including you and the audience. It's gonna be
Disclaimer: we're not detectives.
As said in the disclaimer, not really a good detective. Doing research and stuff. I've never been good at it, even in school. So I'm kind of like flabbergasted with a lot of the stuff in this. But because there's not much to go off of online.
There's not.
Which is a shame. There should be a lot more stuff going on. I know a little bit about the alleged killer. But I don't know very much about the life of the first victim. The first victim was Sarah DeLeon?
DeLeon.
DeLeon?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's fancier than just DeLeon. I like that. DeLeon.
I'm pretty sure, well, I've heard it pronounced on a podcast, but I'm pretty sure it's Hispanic.
Maybe. As someone
you should know that.
I know. I was going to say, as someone who's Hispanic.
DeLeon.
Why did I say Hispanic
of lion
that way? I don't know. You would think I would know, but my intelligence level as of late has just been on the decline. But so on December 29th, again, 1989, 50 years ago now, a female body was discovered by the railroad tracks in Kansas City, Kansas, by the train conductor that was railing on by. They saw a body, or what they thought was a body, slammed on the emergency brake, backed up that train, and then found the body and then called it in. The police arrived, and among them was 19-year-old police cadet named Jeff Cheek, which maybe I'm pronouncing that, and it's Chic.
Chic or Cheek, I don't know.
He thought he recognized the young woman as a recent graduate from their high school. Her name was Sarah DeLeon.
Yeah.
I like that one. Roll with it. Who was only 18.
Yeah, so
which,
sad.
tragic. 18? Man. could you imagine not even right out of high school?
Right.
And then...
You don't even have your jaded glasses on yet. You don't...
Nothing. You're already optimistic. You're just barely optimistic to start your life.
Starting your life, wanting to go to college maybe, moving out,
Yeah, like maybe finding true love.
Yeah.
Or, starting a career that you're very into with friends or whatever. So you're barely starting your life and having this happen. She was last seen by her boyfriend. What is up with some of these names here? Matt Hewlett?
Sounds right.
Yeah. I'm gonna hope that's how it's not Ulan. When she left his house around 1:30 a.m. on December 29th. Oh, that's right. This is just after Christmas.
Yeah.
God.
Makes it even worse.
Gut wrenching. She'd been stabbed 26 times.
Yeah.
26. Excessive amount of stabbings. One is too many.
Mm-hmm.
Unless, of course, you're fighting for your life.
Right.
Understandable. But 26, that's insane levels of being stabbed. I mean, it's not like one of the other cold cases, or not cold cases, but one of the murder cases I've heard about. True crimes. About 96 times.
Yeah.
But 26 times in the back, neck, and chest. The area where she was found was very close to a popular teen hangout spot. It was not heavily trafficked, but well known to the teens who partied there. Imagining like Hookup Cliff.
Lovers Lane.
Lovers Lane, yeah, thank you.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I've been thinking, that's how I'm envisioning
Except the 80s instead of the 50s.
Yes.
So it probably involves a lot more alcohol and drugs.
Way more. As we all know, crystal meth wasn't invented until after the 50s.
Yes.
Not that kids are doing crystal meth. But, I mean, this is the Midwest, where one of our states, what was it, North Dakota, South Dakota? One of their things is like meth. We're on it, and they're trying to fight meth. I'm getting off topic.
All I know is Independence, Independence, Missouri was called the meth capital of like the Midwest or something like that.
Having been to Independence for just to get some paperwork stuff done with the state, I buy it.
I don't know if it's true or not.
I could believe it though, especially in the 80s, late 80s, early 90s. Yeah. So she was not a partier. She was not a party girl. She was not into drugs and had been received as a good student. Nothing of value was found at the scene. If I'm remembering correctly, they assume because of the position of her body, she was essentially dragged there or dropped off there. That was not the kill zone.
Right.
This had been a second location, especially due to where the stabbings have been and the lack of bodily fluids. And so they obviously didn't find the murder weapon. My best guess, also because it's the second location. And more fingerprints, and she had not been sexually assaulted. Which, in my mind, thank God.
Yeah.
Sorry that you've been stabbed and you're no longer alive. That's horrific on its own. But to add that last part of being sexually assaulted, that would have just made the entire situation worse in my mind. And thankfully, she had not been. Her car was found 2 miles away and did not yield any additional evidence either. There was no sign of a struggle in her car, but there appeared to be a scuff mark on her rear bumper, and her hazard lights were on. So maybe she hit or an animal or something and had her hazards on. She got out of the car, and that's where something happened. Possibly.
Mm-hmm. Or somebody hit her from behind.
Yep. That also could have been... yeah, you're right, because it's rear bumper. Why would I think... My brain just shut off for a second. I was like, bumper. Oh, it could have been the front of the car. Or maybe she backed into something, but... Yeah.
And it could have been there the whole time.
Yeah. I mean, maybe she backed into something before... She's 18 years old. Yeah. She's not the world's greatest driver.
Yeah.
But, yeah, just all these additional things just playing in my head. Oh man, this is just quite this. At this time, there were many robberies in the area. They were bump and rob, where people would hit your bumper with their car and make you out to get you out of the car, then rob you, and then take your car. But I mean, with it being 2 miles from the murder scene and all the other things, it's a very very good explanation as to why the police thought originally that was the case. And that was just robbery gone wrong. But after the autopsy, yeah, the police were like, that's not what it is. Especially since her mint condition Ford Mustang was not taken.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, if that was the case, he'd be like, oh, that's a fantastic car. Let's take that. They did not.
And usually when someone's just robbing someone,
They don't stab them 26
right,
times in the chest.
they shoot them in the head, and if they have to, they shoot them or stab them, and then that's it. They don't.
It's a quick get the fuck out of here. They're not like, sorry, language.
No, you're good.
I mean, this is a murder trial.
Yeah.
So, getting that's a passion thing.
Yeah,
that's not a
that's
quick let's get
definitely-
out of here. Like, unless you're demented and you enjoy stabbing people, but even then, like, if you're trying to rob them, you would have taken the mint conditioned Mustang. Like, it's come on, that's just smart here. It's it being a passion thing. The police automatically are like, this is overkill 26 times. Obviously, the person knew her and were enraged with her for whatever reason.
Right.
The police were able to quickly eliminate the boyfriend, Matt, who said that he saw her leave in the black Mustang around 1:30, and his mother told police that he was at the house asleep for the rest of the night after she had left. Her car had been found at 1:50, so there was about a 20-minute time gap between the last time Matt saw her and when her car was found, about a mile away from her house. So Sarah's friend Alice told police that the scuff was not on the bumper of the Mustang earlier that day. So it's possible that it started out as that she got robbed and then, or was going to get robbed, and then the person was just mimicking a bumper rob, especially if it's known that was happening in the area.
Yeah.
To make it look like it was something else entirely, which could be the case. Alice's mom warned both the girls about the bump and robs and to not get out of the car if anyone did hit them and to just keep driving. Alice said Sarah would not have gotten out of the car for someone she did not know, but added that Sarah was extremely protective of her car, which Mustang, yeah, I get. Like,
18-year-olds with a
Yeah.
Mustang, you're going to be protective of that.
especially since it was condition. Like, come on. She also told police that one of Matt's ex-girlfriends had been harassing Sarah. Other teenagers in the town told police that Matt's ex-girlfriend, Carol, had threatened Sarah. The story was that Carol asked her guy friend to spike Sarah's drink, then to drug her, and then cut off her pretty little fucking hair. That's a quote. But the friend refused. But because of the lack of evidence, the case quickly went cold. After Sarah's murder, Carol went to Matt and offered her condolences, and then the two got back together. Carol enrolled in the same college as Matt, and she seemed devoted to him. The relationship didn't work out, though, and they went on their separate ways. So now we're going to get into Carol.
And this is all allegedly. Don't come after us.
She can come after me. All she knows. Don't. I'm teasing. This is all allegedly. Okay. This is stuff that the internet believes.
Yes.
And police also believe. These are all facts. This happened. You are guilty. You know what you did. No,
It's very suspicious.
it be sus AF, as the kids would be saying. Carol, these are all allegedlys. Please don't come after us. Because I don't want to get stabbed 26 times.
Right? She's crazy.
It'd just be crazy, So 5 years later, after not hearing from Carol at all, Matt gets a call from her, and she tells him that there has been another homicide, and the police think that she is involved. Matt would later on say that he did not suspect her at all for the murder of Sarah until he received that phone call. Carol.
Yeah.
So soon Matt found out what the other about the other homicide she was referring to, which was Diana, which you'll be getting into here in a second.
Yes.
Carol is a realtor. I did gather from what I'm understanding, she's still a realtor today.
Oh.
From what I gather, I did try to look up a little bit of it. She's got a website, so I'm assuming she's still going on with it.
Interesting.
But so she was a realtor, and her slogan was getting you a killing deal on your house.
Really?
Yeah. She's getting a killer deal on your house.
Oh my God.
I mean,
I didn't know that.
Again, that's allegedly. I didn't go to her actual website, but from all the other instances, everything that I was hearing, that was like the slogan that she would use. And it was like, I mean, yeah, that's a great slogan, because you want a great deal, a killer deal on things, but maybe not after you've been twice accused of murder.
Yeah.
Wow. Or suspected.
It's like she's rubbing it in people's faces.
Especially the families.
You haven't got me yet. Yeah.
And it's awful. Funny in a sense where if you're innocent, you could be like, yeah, hey, remember this? Poking at you. But I'm not entirely sure that's going to be the case.
Yeah.
We'll see. It's an ongoing investigation still. Mm-hmm. We'll see what happens. Let's see. I'll let you, because like I said, I couldn't find too much other than the information that we have here that we've shared, other than some of these things. But I'll let you continue on.
Okay. So the day was January 31st, 1994.
I was 3 years old.
So 5 years later. The day started out as normal, and it was Super Bowl Sunday. The Dallas Cowboys beat the Buffalo Bills. Woohoo!
Hold up. This is a thing that's bugging me here now. Oh, January 31st. And it's the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Isn't the Super Bowl like the second week or like the first or second Sunday of February?
I don't know. Really pay attention.
My brain is... Okay. Maybe it's different in the 90s.
I don't know. The game started at 6:17 p.m. and Diana Ault, who was 26, had gone to her in-laws to watch the game with her two kids, a 7-month-old and a 4-year-old. They left sometime before the game ended, although there are conflicting reports on the time. The in-laws said it was after the game ended, and some witnesses said it was before the game ended. But either way, she left their home, and she needed to drop something off at a friend's house on the way home, just long enough to drop the item off. The kids were staying in the car. She wasn't going in to chit-chat or anything like that. The time they arrived at home is not known. She brought the kids into the house and then went back out to the car to retrieve something. When she came back in, she was walking down the hallway and turning into the kitchen when she was shot in the neck. Josh, her 4-year-old, he heard the gunshot and he saw the shadow of his mother fall to the floor. Then he said the person picked him up gently and placed him into the closet in his parents' bedroom. He couldn't tell if it was a man or a woman because the mask was covering their face, but he did see blonde hair protruding from underneath the person's mask. Police got a call about a suspicious vehicle parked in a church parking lot that was still running and had a door ajar, but there was no one inside. Police arrived and checked out The car discovered that there was a Ruger revolver with 1 bullet fired, and a spent round was found inside the car. They found the vehicle was registered to Diana Ault, who lived a few miles away. Neighbors claim that they saw 2 people inside the car at one point. Another witness saw someone running into the woods near the church, and the police went to Diana's house and found that her front door was unlocked. They heard the baby crying inside, and so they let themselves in. They found a heartbreaking scene. Diana's 4-year-old was giving his baby 7-month-old sister a bottle and trying to soothe her, and they were both near Diana's body and covered in her blood.
Oh, man.
The worst scene you could ever imagine.
I feel bad for that 4-year-old because the 7-month-old's not going to remember it.
Right.
That 4-year-old, yeah.
Yeah.
He's living with that today.
Yeah. And he's been interviewed. There are interviews online that you can listen to. It's heartbreaking. Diana's husband, Tim, was at work at the time of the murder, and when asked about his relationship, he told the police that it was great. But Diana's sister, Sharon, told the police that Tim did not have a good relationship with Diana. He was having an affair with a woman named Carol. And this was not his first affair either.
It's always funny how that works out. Your wife was just murdered. You're not having a good relationship. I understand the fear of telling cops, like, hey, yeah, my wife was just murdered and we had an awful relationship, because that puts you prime suspect.
Yeah.
However, if you're open and like, yeah, like we were having some issues.
Yeah.
But I still loved her. Like, we're trying to work things out. Like, we have the kids and all that stuff. Sure, that'll put you at the top of the list, but at the same time, that will also clear your name when they find out, hey, it's true, things were rocky. Whereas if you say things were smooth, things were good, perfect, and then they find out otherwise, boy.
That's how it should be anyway, but the police in this case just took him at his word, basically, and even after they found out the truth, they acted like it was no big deal, which is so bizarre to me. And Sharon, Diana's sister, also told the police that Diana was being harassed weeks and weeks before her death. She was being harassed and stalked, basically, and threatened.
Wonder by who?
Yeah.
Oh.
So, a little background. A month earlier on Christmas Eve, Tim left Diana, and she told him, if you leave right now, do not come back. Because she was sick of it. She was so frustrated that she asked her dad about a divorce lawyer. Carol called Diana and told her about the affair. Like, she would literally call her at home and thank her for letting her use her bed.
That is the worst.
Yeah, like, while you were out at work, me and your husband were getting it on in your bed. Thanks for letting me use it. Who does that?
Your bed was really comfortable and really helped support our lumbar.
Yeah.
It was fantastic, thank you.
At one point, she even left money in a cup on the side of the bed like a tip.
Like, thanks for cleaning up our mess. You're the best maid. God, that's the arrogance.
Yeah, exactly. She would basically, I don't know if she was breaking into the house, but she would get access to the house, and I'm assuming it was through a key because they didn't mention anything about how, no windows were...
No forced entry.
No forced entry or anything. But Diana would come home from work and notice that all this stuff in her house has been moved and,
Sounds like Tim made a spare key.
Yeah. At one point, Carol even called Diana to tell her about how much the kids would get from Diana's Social Security if she passed. Or if she was, like, they would only get money from her Social Security if she was dead or disabled in some way. And so Carol called to, like, let her know that she knew how much it was going to be. And she was telling her, like, I will raise your kids in your house with your husband.
Dumb. demented. Carol, even if you didn't kill these two people, get some help. Stop.
Yeah.
Get some help.
For real. A week before Diana's death, Tim begged her to come home because he probably realized this is a crazy bitch and I miss my family. But I don't know. That's just my thoughts. Who knows what was going through his head. So he begged her to come home and she agreed, but she made some changes. She changed her locks. She went to the Independence Police Department to file a harassment report. She changed her phone number.
All good changes.
Yeah. And then the major one that she made was she stopped paying the premiums on her $100,000 life insurance policy, which today would be about $191,000.
Jesus.
And she did not tell Tim that she stopped making payments. And even though she changed the locks and her phone number, the calls and the mistress letting herself into the house did not stop. So you know that they're still getting together because she's getting access to his key somehow.
He probably made another spare.
Who knows?
I mean, they're literally like $6 at Home Depot.
Right. The killer had broken in and was waiting for Diana to come home on that Super Bowl Sunday. There was a door with broken glass, but the police never determined if it had broken from the outside, like a burglary, or if it had broken from the inside, indicating somebody was trying to make it look like a burglary. They never were able to tell. The murder weapon was Tim's Ruger revolver, which he did not lock up.
Okay.
And him and Carol had gone shooting days before the murder, and when he got back from taking her out shooting, he left the gun in the basement unlocked.
Okay. Number one, that's sus.
Mm-hmm.
That's premeditated at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even if you're not saying, I'm going to murder her, like, that's easily, hey, we're planning something.
Yeah.
And then, number two, lock up your friggin' firearm. You have a 4-year-old and a 7-month-old.
And his excuse was, well, they couldn't get down the stairs to the basement, so it was fine. It was safe.
I've
Mhm.
seen 2-year-olds climb up and down stairs.
Yeah.
You
I know.
Oh.
But anyway, that's another issue.
all these things adding up, I'm starting to think there's 2 people that should be
Yeah.
severely checked into here.
Right? The police saw Tim as a victim, even though he lied about his relationship even though he lied about his relationship in the interrogation. He didn't even mention the stalking and harassment that Diana was dealing with, and he didn't mention that the murder weapon was his.
Why would he?
The police were under the impression that it was just a burglary gone wrong. Which, okay, from the start, maybe, but nothing was taken. So the robber is in the house trying to rob things, stealing things. Diana comes in and brings her kids in, and then she goes back out to the car to get something. So the burglar could have just left when he heard that.
Right.
And burglars don't typically stay around and wait for confrontation.
No.
They hear somebody, they're gone.
Yeah, I mean, confrontation usually leads to identification
Mhm.
of some
Right.
sort. Like,
So this person just waited there for her to come back
It was the
again the
intent.
second time. It was
the intent.
yes.
Especially since no harm was done to the kids, and the
Yes.
kids were placed into the closet.
Mm-hmm. The only thing missing from the house was the gun and the vehicle, but they were both located at the church parking lot shortly after or before they found the scene. So Tim's parents said that the police told them that they needed to clear the house out and not leave anything of value in it so that it could not be broken into again. Or if somebody did break in, they wouldn't steal anything of value. Because they just thought it was a burglary gone wrong, I guess is what they're thinking. But this still doesn't make sense to me because there's still a dead person.
Right.
There's still a victim in there. And you're
Right.
just going to let the family clean out the house
what they should have done is cleared out the house in the sense of like the family. You need to stay with family.
Right.
We're going to be shutting down the house. We're going to be adding surveillance. We're going to be bringing in crime scene. Even especially in '94, they had all these things.
Yeah.
Like we're going to be bringing people in, fingerprinting everything, and cleaning up the house, especially since you have a 4-year-old living at the house. You can't really be leaving traces of blood or whatever that's going to be traumatizing this kid. And
but I
they
don't
should
think
have shut it down. But
I don't think that's the job of the investigators
No.
or the police department in general to clean the house.
No, well, I mean, that's why you have crime scene cleanup. But at the same time, like, what they could have done is gotten the police there to do their initial investigation, had the CSI come in, crime scene investigators come in, do a thorough analysis of everything, get everything done, and then have the crime scene cleanup crew, which, funnily enough, if this was in Colorado, that would have been my mom at the time, come in and clean up the place.
Once they're done with it.
Once they're all done, and then have the family come back.
Right.
That two things that would have done is, number one, if you're shutting down the house and say it was a quote-unquote burglary gone wrong, the burglar is going to be like, well, that's a hot spot. There's police. They have it shut down. I'm not going back there. Number two, that if it was a burglary gone wrong, which we know it's not. I mean, it's sus AF that it would be. They would already know what's in the house. And if anything was worthy of taking, they would have taken it when they killed her. There would have been nothing to stop them. What, a 4-year-old in the closet that you put in there? That's free game at that point. It's just mind-boggling.
So Tim's brother, Tom, went over to the house to clean it up a few days after the murder. He said it was not long at all. Tom got rid of the bloody carpet, hauled everything out that they wanted to keep, and the police allowed Tim to take possession of the car that the killer drove. There really was no public information about how much they got from the car, if they did, what kind of testing they did on the car, if anything. So I don't know, but Tim got it back and was able to just drive it like nothing happened.
Jeez.
Diana's family, in-laws included, did not believe that this was a botched burglary. They gave the name of the woman who was harassing Diana and making threats. And other young women came forward to tell police about that same woman stalking or threatening them as well. This is a pattern. So police changed the investigation from burglary to homicide, but when they went back to the house to collect evidence, guess what? There wasn't anything there.
Yeah, I wonder why.
Yeah, I don't know where it all went. It is so frustrating. The one thing that ties both of these cases together is Carolyn Coon, and she now goes by Carol Heckert. She lawyered up as soon as she was brought in for questioning, but she did say that she was in Manhattan, Kansas, 140 miles away from Independence, Missouri, the night that Diana was murdered. Carol had been known to have help in her stalking and harassing. Maybe she had help with Diana. The witness did see 2 people in the church parking lot in Diana's car. Her friend Jamie, this is Carol's friend Jamie, told police that she helped her in the past. Before Sarah's murder, there was an incident with a girl named Maggie, where Carol and Jamie tricked Maggie into coming to a hotel under the guise of Maggie's boyfriend throwing a Valentine's Day party. Maggie's boyfriend used to date Carol.
Interesting.
Again, this theme just keeps continuing. So, Carol is Maggie's ex-girlfriend. Carol is Maggie's current boyfriend's ex-girlfriend.
Yes.
Okay. Once at the hotel, Maggie said that she felt like she was drugged. Jamie said Carol pulled out gloves and told Jamie to put them on, but instead she ran out of the room. Good for her.
Yeah, smart.
Because God knows what would have happened. There's only one instance that I can think of that you would need gloves.
Yeah.
You're about to commit some heinous crime,
Yeah.
murder or not. But
you're going to torment somebody you don't want printies.
Yeah. There was another instance where Carol threw fish guts all over the car of a girl who was dating a boy who had left Carol for her. Every time this bitch gets dumped,
yeah,
she goes after the new girl.
Yeah.
She's not ever mad at the boyfriends. It's always the new girl's fault.
It's always because hey, she's the best and she has to be the best.
Yeah.
She's insane.
Oh.
More and more I hear about her, the more infuriated my brain becomes.
Yeah. There were many instances of stalking and harassing romantic rivals. This is her pattern. ABC News reported that police said the murder suspect, quote, and an accomplice have been involved in other incidents involving the harassment and intimidation of romantic rivals, end quote. The families need someone to come forward with information. The FBI reopened Diana's case in 2022, so please let them know if you have any detail, any knowledge, or any piece of physical evidence involving the murders of Sarah DeLeon and Diana Ault. Because, like I said, when they cleaned out her house, from what I read, family and friends just took what they could take.
Mm-hmm.
So someone out there might have something with evidence on it or in it or something.
Yeah.
Like, illumine all that shit.
Yeah.
Get it to the cops. Do whatever you need to do.
And if you're a friend or family of them and you think you might have an object.
Yeah.
I don't know. How long does blood stay
if you use,
on a UV light?
Yeah, if you use luminol on decades-old blood, it'll still luminesce.
Go for it. Do some You know what?
I wouldn't do testing on it yourself, though. Please bring it to the police.
Yes.
But I just know that.
Yeah, definitely.
It does stay for a really long time because it goes after the protein in the blood.
Ooh.
So, I mean, I have seen cases where people have painted over blood stains. After they cleaned it, they'll clean it, paint over it, and it will still luminesce.
That's freaking awesome.
Yeah. So there are things that they can test for. There are things they can do. So if you have any information, please call the FBI at 1-800-CALL-FBI, which is 1-800-225-5324, or by visiting tips.fbi.gov. You can also go to the Facebook pages for Diana and Sarah. They are just basically Justice for Diana and Justice for Sarah, all spelled out. You can submit tips directly to the families that way. And this is just a brief episode that cannot possibly cover every detail of both of these cases. I highly recommend the podcast Unfinished Investigation. It's only 6 episodes long so far. I don't know if they're planning to do more, but the interviews are with Diana's family.
Yeah. And
the creator is actually Gail, who is Sarah's mother.
Oh, wow.
It is heartbreaking to listen to.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to take a listen to that. I was trying to take a listen to it earlier, but my phone was acting a fool, so I'm going to get it working in. Because this is quite an interesting thing.
Yeah.
I mean, just briefly, this individual that is rumored, I don't want to say rumored, but suspected. Yeah, that's the right word.
Yeah.
Suspected to have done these tragic murders. It's the only tying indication that would tie both of these. It's sure it's like a 5-year time gap, but come on, like you can clearly tell they're connected.
Yeah.
There's one individual who dated both.
Yeah. And she was a few years older than Sarah when Sarah was murdered. And I mean, 5 years later, she was, I believe, a few years older than Diana. So it's like her boyfriends leave her for younger women.
Yeah.
And she loses her shit.
Yep.
And the other frustrating thing, which I hate talking bad on police departments, but come on.
I've always said to, especially with people who are anti-police, which, I don't fully understand, but you do have those people that are completely, like, they screw up the investigation.
Yeah.
Everybody has their good and bad days, understandably, but some departments are just worse than others.
Yeah.
And you have to take it by a case-by-case situation. This case was completely fumbled.
Mm-hmm.
Fumbled.
Yes.
Horribly. I mean, I'm no detective, and I could tell you that's not how you do one. Like,
yeah,
it's just common sense. But I am really happy the FBI reopened this, and hopefully they get the information they need to put this individual behind bars. Not necessarily you, Carol, but if you did, you.
Yeah. Whoever is responsible, whoever is responsible, I believe in my heart, did both.
Yes, it's definitely, no matter how you look at it, a tied case.
And I forgot to mention too, like I said, Carol had been arrested and went to trial. It didn't go to trial, but during the preliminary hearing or whatever, the judge basically dismissed it because there wasn't enough evidence. And he was saying that, she's not strong enough to drag Sarah's body. And it was only, what did Cheek say? I think the investigator Cheek said that it was only 15 to 20 yards away from the street.
Yeah.
And she was only 115 pounds.
I personally think there was two people with that.
And it could have been two people,
and,
which would make it even easier.
Yeah. I honestly think that the person that put the kid in the closet was Carol. Blonde hair, coming out of the mask.
And she treated him gently. She wanted to raise those kids.
I think the person that shot and killed was the husband. I honestly think it was the husband that was helping her. And, I mean, she was getting in a house. How was she doing that? She had a key, right?
Yeah.
Who was she sleeping with? The husband. Who was having issues with the wife? The husband. So it's very possible that the first murder was her, and then this one was her manipulating.
Mm-hmm. Well, he was at work during the time, but what I think, do think, I allegedly, I think that he probably made a key for her, told her the new number so she could keep harassing her.
Told her where to find the gun.
Yeah, and he knew about their $100,000 life insurance policy. He did not know it was canceled. And he took her shooting to let her practice with this gun, and then he just leaves it out for her to let herself in. And so I do think he's involved.
Oh, 100%, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Now that you mentioned how he was at work, my brain was like, yeah, that was a detail.
But if there's two people in the car, maybe she got help from somebody else. Who knows?
Tom?
I don't know. I don't think.
Yeah, I was going to say, Tom was one of the in-laws that was like, hey, this is stirring up, right?
Yeah. And when you listen to the Unfinished Investigation podcast, you can tell that Tom is so incredibly hurt over this, and he is so torn because, yes, that's his brother, but he does think that he's involved, and he loved Diana like a sister. So
you can tell she was incredibly loved.
Yeah.
And you can tell that when both her family and the in-law family is saying, hey, this is something that's not right.
Yeah.
Which I'm certain Tim was probably not counting his chicken or counting his eggs on. That's the phrase, right?
I don't know.
I digress. I'm pretty sure he wasn't expecting that. He was probably thinking, they'll probably be on my side.
Yeah.
Sometimes it doesn't roll that way.
Yeah. And if he is innocent, man, I mean, lying to the police, I mean, he had to have been the one to give her a key or,
Something.
and he was still having the affair. Even though he moved back home, he was still having the affair with her.
Yeah.
Because she would call Diana and brag about it, basically. So we know that they were still hooking up.
It's
Yeah, it's just such a frustrating case, and the family really deserves to get some answers. And now that the FBI has reopened it, I'm hoping that things will move forward and they can get some justice.
100%. 100%.
So
This one's not as fun as the last one, but it's still as important. It's more important, actually.
it's so important. Yeah.
It's something that people can help solve. I mean, Thomas Swope, last episode, yeah, like, cool. It was a fun story.
Mm-hmm.
But there was no evidence. We already knew what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Like, going into this, it's like, let's come back to it when we got more information and see what happened.
Yeah. I really hope they can get something else going with it and, discover something new, get a new tip that closes it. It's just so frustrating.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
So that was the story, the sad, sad story of Sarah DeLeon and Diana Ault. You can find us on Facebook, and I have a Facebook group now. It is the Facebook is History and Mystery KC Pod. And there is a Patreon if you would like to support the show, keep it going, and make it better. The Patreon is patreon.com/History and Mystery KC Pod. And I've been posting videos with the podcast on YouTube as well. And I'll have all of these links in the Facebook group. And so you can check it out.
Check it out. All of those socials.
Yeah, all that stuff.
All that fun stuff.
And in the meantime, stay aware, alert, and alive. Bye.
Bye.